Welcome in, guys, to one of the most valuable marketing assets you're going to be able to stick between your 2 ears today. And the reason I say that is because this is one of the most important lessons that I learned from Alex Becker's program when he basically taught me how to scale a high-ticket offer through paid ads. And the most important lesson I took from it was how to take my prospects' beliefs and alter them in a way that got them to believe that our service was going to help them move forward. Which might sound manipulative, but the bottom line is, if you believe that your service can genuinely change people's lives, and you just need them to believe it, then this is a huge catalyst for growth. So when I seen the opportunity with Chris, and I knew that he understood beliefs and how to alter them through copywriting, I thought it was a no-brainer to unpack this as a real-time example and then make it as a separate YouTube video. So enjoy the video, guys, and let me know your top takeaway. Maybe if we do like a little exercise around this, right? I know you can shift my belief on something. So I remember down an email, I had one of my mates, Ollie, he was running some like cold email campaigns and stuff like that, just to test and see if we could get some deals through the door through cold email. We tried a few, our open rates were decent, but our reply rates were quite poor. And I said to him, look, let me have a crack at writing some copy for an email because I write good copy for ads, etc. Let me just have a crack at just doing it. And I also, within that email, I remember just sitting that day, I'd crafted one, Ollie had sent it out, done a good test batch, couple of thousand. Replies were kind of meh as well. I then done another one, but this one I was sitting down, mate, I remember just thinking, I'm going to be completely my fucking self in this email. Like, I'm literally going to leave like nothing unchained. I'm going to swear in it. I'm going to take the piss a bit. But at the bottom line, there's going to be an ask there, and it's going to be to get them taking the next step forward within our buyer journey, which was never like try to sell. It was some sort of free value that we wanted to give. And I remember we sent out a test batch, and we got more replies to that email. But I remember one of the replies, which then put me off doing it further, almost like probably gave me a flashback to like school, was a guy came back and he was like, I actually can't believe this fucking email, and I can't believe that you've even sent something like this to a bunch of individuals. So much so that I've showed my full office room and we're all sitting here laughing at it. And off the back of that, like, I just wanted to let you know how ridiculous this is and how the fact that you're never going to get any sales through an email of this nature. Now, when I received that email back and Ollie actually texted me, he was like, got quite a mad reply by me, mate. I wouldn't even read it if I was you, because obviously he's done email marketing for a good couple of years. So he was like, yeah, shit like that all the time. Like, don't worry about it. And I remember at the time feeling super fucking embarrassed and feeling like I'd stepped into like, I'm going to be my fucking true authentic self. I put it out there, and it felt like it got shot down. And it probably reminded me of like school. Now, it's still a good couple of years ago now. But in hindsight, I remember when I was sitting on a call with Phil, we wanted to launch with something new coming, which I think it'll be out by the time this episode's out, is Young Entrepreneur Secrets, which is going to be an email value that's going to come through email, 2 emails a week. And I remember I was on a call with Phil and he was like, by the way, you guys got an email list? And I was like, nah. And he was like, your longer form content, like what's the script there? I was like, I do fortnightly episodes on a podcast. And I was like, okay. It's like, so you're literally like not tapping into probably like the 2 of the biggest components of building trust in this day and age is longer form, and you aren't doing it. Like, why? And also off the back of that, I just like fucking got straight into building out the emails, what we wanted to offer from value perspective, coming up with the brand name, etc., and just sinking into it. But see, upon reflection, probably that couple of year window, I probably in the back of my mind, that fucking reply.
Right.
And I guess the belief around it, that if you were to shift my belief around it, would be to probably tell me why I'm even getting like offended by that or even stopping email off the back of it. And what you could easily say is probably along the lines of the fact that it's just part of the fucking game and you're going to get people who are going to reply with shit like that.
Yeah, that could be part of it. But here's what I would do. Shifting beliefs requires you to step out of the situation and zoom out. So let's zoom out. You are your true authentic self.
Yeah.
Would you say that every single person in the world, let's imagine every single person in the world got to know who you are. Would you say they were going to like you?
Nah.
Would you say some people would hate you?
Potentially.
Yeah. Would you say some people would really, really like you and be so connected to you, like, you're my guy?
I'd hope so.
Who would you focus on?
Them.
Yeah. Exactly. That's step 1.
Yeah.
So I've shifted the belief around that.
Yeah, for sure.
But now we need to turn a negative into a positive. That is a huge marketing opportunity right there, because people love drama and they love conflict. And that's nothing to do with marketing. That's human nature. Think about all the TV programs we love, like Game of Thrones. Think about the first 5 seasons. Let's not talk about the last 3. Think about the drama and the conflict in that, right? And you'll have people will have their own version of it, like any show you want, Suits, whatever it is. So what you could have done there was screenshotted that email, turned it into an ad, and then I got an opt-in and saying, opt into this to see my reply. My reply would have been, let's call the guy Malcolm. He sounds like a Malcolm. No offense to any Malcolms watching, right? And I said, Malcolm, I just want you to know how much I love your reply. It has given me endless energy to send out even more emails and build my success off of your bitterness. And would you mind sending me your office address so I can print off all future emails, send them to your office so you can roll them up and shove them up your arse sideways. Right? That would be the reply. Something along those lines, right? I've had those situations before, by the way. And that would be my reply. So you can imagine how if you would put that in social media, like, do you want to see my response to this guy? Quick opt-in, simple automation setup. This was the response. But then you could also turn it into a lesson. How many lessons could you teach from that? You could say the lesson I've just taught you, but the belief, not taught you, you knew that already, but you know what I mean? The belief shift, and then you could take that 100 different ways. For your audience especially. They're always going to encounter people like that, aren't they? So yeah, never waste a good drama or good conflict, you know? Like I had a guy reply to one of my emails. My emails are a bit of mix. Like I've got like the kind of marketing, copywriting side. I've also got more of the kind of personal brand side. I've got a newsletter called Read, Write, Lift, where I give like a insight from a book, a journaling prompt, and then some sort of like lifting insight. Bit of fun, bit lighthearted. And a guy responded, just basically say, I cannot believe you send this stuff out. I signed up to get marketing insights, and all you do is talk about lifting weights. And he said, to quote Stephen Pressman, nobody wants to read your shit. And his name was Ed, by the way. And I came back to him and says, thanks, Ed. By the way, it's Stephen Pressfield, you tit. And I'm sending out a case study tomorrow on how I ran a £187,000 organic launch for my client. You will not see this because I have deleted you from my email list. I shared that in my story, and I got, 20, 25 subs off the back of it. So you see, that's a very similar situation there. But I was a bit more longer in the tooth, a bit more kind of, I've been in this very same situation before where I had the similar reaction to you, where a guy who I thought was a big player in the industry totally slated an email I sent publicly in a Facebook group, and I had a very similar reaction, but I did go back at him in the comments. But anyway, so is that like...
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because I guess the thought process, like a couple of things on this is people will connect more with your vulnerabilities. I've never spoken about that before, ever. And also, when you're saying about shifting beliefs, you shifting that belief for me, say you were to do that in the email format, right? And maybe the headline was, I don't know, have you ever had a Malcolm reply to your email with absolute shit or something like that? Better copy.
The whole office was laughing at me.
Yeah, something like that.
That's the subject line.
And it's like, say I was to receive an email like that from yourself, knowing that I'd experienced that, and then you shifted that belief through that exact story, how engaged I would then be in the rest of the emails would probably be fucking ridiculous. I'd probably set an alarm for every fucking email and make sure it's coming on board. So I actually wrote it down quite early on about that story because I was wondering if we could plug it in somewhere. And I think shifting beliefs is a huge component of getting people to engage, and I also think it's a great way of showcasing the level of expertise that you've got. The fact you've been able to take that, construct that into like 3 key points, and also give an actionable email back that was so full of patter that it was fucking brilliant to hear. Once again, just displays like the level of expertise you've got, mate, which is class.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That was you gave me a very good example. I was grinning as you were saying it because I knew exactly what I was going to respond to. Just to, if you don't mind, just to give another example of how you can like shift beliefs. So another way you can do it, and this is kind of probably more well known in marketing, is like give like kind of titles to things and names to certain things you have, whether it's like a process or a mindset sort of thing. So I'll give you an example from one of my newsletters. Again, this wasn't a marketing newsletter necessarily, but I sent one of my most popular Savage Saturday emails, which is again is more about like kind of personal development. It was titled Auto Response Syndrome, and I spoke about a specific situation I was in where I was down the rugby club, and a guy who my dad played rugby with, and it was the day we won the league. Just wanted to plug that. Day we won the league. And he nudged me. I was there with my wife, who was at that point my fiance, and he nudged me and he went, "Is that your bird?" And I went, "That's Gillian, my fiance." And he went, "Oh." And then he took a sip of his beer. And he went, "Everything goes downhill after you get married." And I went, "I don't think it does. I can't wait to get married." And the point I made in the email was the automatic response in that situation would have been, "That's a missus, mate. Oh, I know, tell me about it, getting married. Oh, no, she'll be pure moaning at me all day long." I don't believe that. But the auto response in that is just to go along with the energy that he's putting out in the conversation. But something that I've been quite big on is like, don't go along with that shit. You know, so again, that's a way you can kind of shift beliefs, is like if you can take a concept and like name it and show how it happens in that's a very mundane scenario. That's another thing. Nothing has to be like super fancy or like these big grand stories that you would maybe find in a novel. That is me down the rugby club, my dad's steaming pal. It's not exactly, you know, going to win a Pulitzer, but it's a very relatable scenario. People have been there before, you know, they've been there, they've got this kind of acquaintance and they're kind of hitting out with some shit. And you're just like, aye, going along with it, you know. And I think that's another way you can shift beliefs around things. If you can take your concepts and the way you think about things differently, give it a little name, because you've got to get the marketing in there. Give it a little name, a little hook, and then show people how it actually plays out in a very kind of real scenario.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I fucking love that. That was such a good. That was like risky doing that off the dome, mate. But to fucking, I feel like it was a perfect scenario to do. So
See the panic in your eyes there. Tell them, edit, is it?